Question number 45 is another one of those type of questions that a lot of times when students come across it and they see the lengthiness of the question and the wordiness, they start getting worried about not being able to do it. It's really not a hard problem. Let me read it to you. Consider the following function. H is equal to the opposite of 16t squared plus 32t. As the problem continues, what it tells us is this. H in this equation represents the height of an object above the ground measured in feet, and t represents the time that it takes the object to get that high in the air, and time is measured in seconds. And the question wants to know how long it would take the object to hit the ground. Now, before we actually go to my paper and start writing to work through the problem, the question says how long would it take the object to hit the ground. How long means we're looking for time. So we're trying to eventually solve for t. Picture this. If an object has gone up in the air and it's back on the ground, picture the little path. Up in the air, back on the ground. Once it's back on the ground again, how high is it above the ground? Well, hopefully 0 feet. So here's your clue. When an object is on the ground, that means that h equals 0. So what we're really being told to do, and I want you to come with me to my little piece of paper here. What you are really being asked to do is to go to this equation. H equals the opposite of 16t squared plus 32, and replace h with 0. And again, the reason I'm replacing h with 0 is I'm trying to find out when the object is on the ground. Well, the object is on the ground when height above the ground equals 0. So I have an equation that I need to solve, and that will give me the time that the object is on the ground. This quadratic equation, or second degree equation, is already in the form you need it in. It's in descending power order equal to 0. Best way to try to attempt to do this equation is by factoring. When I look at these two terms, I see that the greatest common factor is a negative 16t, so I factor that out. In parens, that would leave me with t minus 2. Pay attention to the fact that this is a minus, negative times negative to give me a positive. So I have two factors equal to 0, so now I set up my cases. Either the first factor is equal to 0, or the second factor is equal to 0. If negative 16t is 0, we divide both sides by negative 16. 0 divided by negative 16 is 0. If t minus 2 is 0, t is equal to 2. So basically what we found out is the object is on the ground twice. Once at time 0 and once at time 2. Of course, both of these are measured in seconds because we're told that in the problem. The answer that we're really interested in is this one, 2 seconds. The question said how long would it take the object to hit the ground. So by the way the question is worded, you're assuming it's already been flying in the air and returning to the ground. So the correct final answer to this problem would be 2 seconds. It takes the object 2 seconds to hit the ground.